Hello, can you hear me okay? I've just realised some kind of notification popped up on the screen and I thought I didn't think the live had gone live yet. James Parker Sculpture, hope you're doing well. Um, Caroline Parker as well. There's two of you. It's exciting stuff. As you can see, I am in well, you two know where the glamorous location of my kitchen is, so that's always good. Can you hear me okay? I'll take that as a yes. Um, First of all, hello to Jack, James, Sophie, Lewis, and Emma. Let's get the important people mentioned straight away. Anne Ambrose, hello, how are you? So there's 9 people on. I'm just gonna start waffling now. I just thought I'd jump on for half an hour, say hello, see what everybody's up to. Elizabeth Gardner Purvis, hello from the USA. Um, Hi, meow. um, so yeah, I thought I'd jump on, say hello, just kind of chat about what I've been up to. It's been a bit of a quiet start to the week. I've actually been on a holiday in Northumberland, which has been pretty cool. Um, Not strictly Scotland unplugged, but I suppose I've been kind of unplugged from Scotland. Hello, Ross. How are you? Hope you're doing well. How was your hike? I saw you were doing the Southern Upland Way on Facebook. Sheila N, hello, from Southwest Montana. What's the weather like in Southwest Montana? I'm guessing probably better than it is here today. Although it's actually improving. The reason I'm in this glamorous location with nothing more exciting than really just a big clock and a unicorn party bag is that's not mine by the way. Is basically it's too windy and I don't trust my microphone not to make too much racket. Um, Hot in is that Saskatchewan? Is that Canada? Um, yeah, kind of cold and rainy here today, and now it's kind of warm. So maybe I should have gone outside. I'm not sure. But yeah, I've been on Northumberland for the week, so not strictly Scotland unplugged. Although I suppose I was the Scotland bit in it. Went to see some castles. Went to Chillingham Castle, which apparently is the most haunted castle in the UK. So they claim. I have also heard that Glam's Castle is the most haunted castle in the UK. But I was in Edward the Longshanks' bedroom. That's exciting. He wasn't there, obviously, in body, possibly in spirit. And I saw a window that was kind of built for him, which is kind of weird because obviously he was there to butcher some Scottish people. So yeah, bit conflicted when I was standing there. Didn't really see any spooks. The only time it really felt spooky was when I was in a dungeon where supposedly lots of people had been tortured. Then I went to Lindisfarne Castle. Lindisfarne Island is where all the Vikings basically, well, where the Vikings first pitched up in the UK. Have you ever seen the TV show Vikings? That's where they kind of arrive. So I was there, and Lindisfarne Castle is not what I was expecting. My kids actually got castle fatigue because we went to too many castles while we were on holiday. So yeah, I've been quite quiet for a week just because thought I'd go away and spend some time with the family and see some stuff and do lots of kind of swimming and try to go for a couple of runs and things as well. Sabby S, hello from sunny Los Angeles. Is it always sunny in Los Angeles apart from when it rains? I'm guessing it probably is. Um, not as seasonal as it is here, where well, actually, sometimes you get 4 seasons in one day, which is what the song's all about. Anne Ambrose, North Carolina, hot and muggy. Hot's good, muggy I'm not so fond of. It gets quite muggy here when it gets hot in the summer because it's just pretty humid. Gulf Stream, I suppose. Sandy Newfield, hello from California. My kids love you. Hello, kids. Um, Sheila N, it's hot here, days in the 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Nights are decent in the high 40 degrees, low 50 degrees. It's mostly sunny, but we've got a lot of wildfire smoke drifting in. Yeah, it seems to be a big problem this year everywhere. Um, we have low humidity, so the heat isn't bad. Indian exploring abroad, Ravi from Edinburgh. Hello. PGK from Canada. Canada being well represented tonight. Indian exploring abroad. Are you from Edinburgh? No, I'm not from Edinburgh at all. My wife is from Edinburgh, so I'm kind of trapped here in exile. Um, just because she loves Edinburgh, and fair enough, really. I'm actually from a place called Galloway, which is, if you look at a map of Scotland, the easiest way, not a lot of people know where it is, but the easiest way to find it is basically it's the hammerhead bit that sticks out on the bottom. Wasn't even really part of Scotland until about, I think it was sometime in the 13th century. It became part of Scotland when I think Fergus of Galloway died. He was the last kind of ruler of Galloway. Galloway is kind of a strange word. It means amongst the stranger Gaels. Very rough translation from the Gaelic. And the stranger Gaels were a bunch of Vikings that just kind of turned up there after going to Lindisfarne, obviously. Yeah, born in Glasgow. Lived in Glasgow for 4 years on and off myself, actually. I lived in Glasgow, weirdly, when I met my wife, who lives in Edinburgh. Alice Gamble, hello, how are you? From Winnipeg in Canada. It's only 11 a.m. Sunday morning here. Oof. That's good. That means you've got the rest of Sunday. It's 7 p.m. here, so it's so work tomorrow's coming up sooner. Kristen G, hello from Utah, USA. Yeah, I can imagine it's super hot there. Deborah Ruffin Design, aloha from the Big Island. Nice. Irene from Calgary, Canada. Filthy Cat, hello, how are you? I was going to put my supper on, but I'll wait a wee while now. You got, I'm only on for another 23 minutes or something. I might stick around for a bit longer, we'll see. See if I run out of chat. Sometimes you run out of things to say, although not me, I tend to go off on tangents, to be fair. Lizzie Garcia, hi from Cuban girl living in Germany. Wow, cool. Cuban living in Germany, that must be quite a change in temperature, I would imagine. So yeah, been away for a week, working on some different things. What have I been up to? So I'm working on, and this has turned into a bit of a monster. You've just seen probably recently, I did a video about kilts, and as part of that, I was at Culloden Moor. That was because I was making another video about the Battle of Culloden and about Bonnie Prince Charlie and the Jacobites. Bonnie Prince Charlie, who was he? Was he a hero or a zero, depending on what you kind of, what various different kind of opinions of him. But what's his background? Who were the Jacobites? What did they really want? How does it relate to kind of Outlander, how it's kind of portrayed in Outlander, and that kind of thing. So went up to Culloden, went to Loch Ness, had some real kind of fun up in that part of the world. If you don't know geographically, that's kind of northeast, up in the Highlands there. Beautiful part of the world. Went monster hunting. Put a video out about that last week after my daughter told me that I had to go monster hunting. So that was a lot of fun. But went to Culloden Moor, which wasn't fun's probably the wrong word. It was a bit more poignant, just because of the history there and kind of not necessarily what it led to, but the kind of catalyst, what it was the catalyst for in terms of kind of Highland life. Indian explorer abroad. Edinburgh is a fantastic city. Scots are so nice people. Hopefully you live in Edinburgh. I do live in Edinburgh. Yeah, it's amazing. Whereabouts in India are you from? Lizzie Garcia, hi. Oh, I've already read that. I'm scrolling back down the way. Oh, hang on. I have just accidentally turned the camera, haven't I, onto my messy dining room. You don't need to see that. Oh no, epic fail. Biggish Bedlam, hello from another crazy American with both Scottish and Nordic ancestry. Good combination, I would say. Wouldn't want to fight you though. Filthy Cat, I'll order a chippy. Yes, quite right. Always do that when you get the chance. I had way too many chippies last week, right enough, because I was in Northumberland. But you don't do salt and sauce down there. It's all salt and vinegar. Love the Scottish culture. Yeah, Outlander. I must admit, I've not actually seen bits of Outlander, but not an awful lot of it. Sabby S would love to visit Scotland. It looks so pretty there. It is. I'm biased, but it is. Yeah, my dining room, it's mainly jackets and stuff that are all over the floor. I was kind of tidying up before I came on anyway, so luckily it's not quite as bad as it normally is. Savvy S, your living room looks fine, yeah. Apophis Psycho, hi from Glasgow. Hello, whereabouts in Glasgow are you? What's a chippy? A chippy is basically Scottish slang, probably UK slang, really, for usually fish and chips, but it doesn't necessarily have to be fish and chips. Could just be chips. Could be chips and curry sauce. Could be that's fusion cuisine to us. Could be smoked sausage and chips. Could be a burger and chips. But basically, it's something that you would get from a fish and chip shop or a chippy. Yeah, UK slang basically. PJK, don't understand why people leave Scotland currently to live in Canada. I suppose it's just a bigger country, isn't it? There's just kind of, and maybe the weather's better in the summer. I don't know. I always fancied going to Canada and having a look around. One of my biggest regrets is that one of my best friends went to Canada and asked me if I would go with him, and I was just like, oh no, I've got far too much on here. I don't know what I thought I had on, but it would have been a good trip, I think. Glasgow kids. And Nadine, I always mispronounce your name, Nadine. Sorry. Hello. Hope you're doing well. Indian exploring abroad. Hopefully see you any day in Edinburgh. I'm from North India. Name of the state is Uttar Pradesh, and the city is Prayagraj. Sorry, I've probably completely pronounced that wrong. Famous city for River Ganges and religious Hindu tale. Kimbeta. Brilliant. Chips are, yeah, American French fries. Sorry, yeah, that's, and of course in America, chips are crisps. Fish, yeah. PGK, me neither. I would love to move to such a beautiful country. It is good, I must admit. I've been away, I've lived in other countries for kind of short spaces of time, and it always is nice to come back. Living in Edinburgh is brilliant because you can basically jump in the car and be in a different place in a very short space of time. That sounds kind of obvious, but you can be in a very different place from a landscape point of view in a very short space of time. I remember my brother-in-law and I got up one morning, drove for a couple of hours, and we were climbing a Monroe above a massive kind of hydroelectric dam, a place called Ben Cruachan, which was really cool. And if you lived where I originally lived, it would be a bit more difficult to get to places. But Edinburgh's really central, and it's not a big town. It's or not a big city. It's more like a big country town more than anything. And the architecture is really kind of old, but it takes you really 20 minutes to get out of the city. And from here, probably 10 minutes to get out of the city where I live in the burbs. Black pudding, deep fried. Ugh, my wife would be with you on that. My second son would also be very much with you on that, but I'm not such a big fan of the black pudding. For anybody who doesn't know what black pudding is, I almost feel like I should preface this with some kind of disclaimer, but it's basically, I think it's oatmeal and blood, isn't it? I've never been a massive fan, and also sacrilegious, but I've never been a massive fan of haggis either, but I do love fish and chips. You actually pronounce it correctly. That's good, Nadine. I've been worried all this time. Filthy cat, white pudding supper, and a single fish, and obviously a bottle of Ireland. What is in a white pudding? I have no idea. I'm not going to Google it right now, but if anybody fancies Googling it and let me know, that'd be good. Epodicus even. I was in Edinburgh, then Glasgow, then took the train to Mallaig. Nice. Never been up to Mallaig, actually. Been kind of up that way, but never made it that far. Bookish Bedlam, my great-grandfather was Clyde Mackay, who had quite a Scottish name for being in the morning in America. Clyde Mackay, very much. Very much so. I'm guessing he was Scottish. One of my absolute heroes is a guy called Donald Campbell, who wasn't Scottish either, but had a very kind of Scottish name. I used to work with a guy called Rory Campbell, who was from Nottingham. But there you go. Iron. I don't know. Alice Gamble, what is black pudding? So yeah, black pudding. That's basically what it is. It's blood and oatmeal. Quite scary. Do you like black pudding? I'm South Korean, but emigrated to the States when I was young. In South Korea, we have something like black pudding. Savvy, yes, I hate it. It's too much blood. Yeah, I'm with you. Black pudding is made from blood. I ate both black pudding and haggis most mornings when I was there. It does sound gross because it is gross. Hi from North Texas. Hi, Mrs. Henderson. Hope we're doing well. Sheila, and black pudding sounds disgusting. It's not actually disgusting. It's just the thought of what's actually in it doesn't do it for me. Don't knock it till you try it. Yeah, you're quite right. It is. A lot of people love black pudding. It's kind of old school, isn't it? You can have my share. Quite right. Caroline Parker, white pudding is fat oatmeal and breadcrumbs. That just sounds very Scottish, doesn't it? it's yeah, fat oatmeal and breadcrumbs. It sounds like something you would feed to kind of birds in some kind of feeder thing, doesn't it? Deep fried sausage, yes. Robert Amity, how is your brother Graham? Graham. I thought I misread that and thought it said Graham. Weirdly, my other brother and I call him Grim. I have no idea why. It just kind of, it's just the way we talk to each other. He's fine. He's on holiday at the moment. And they say there's no rest for the wicked. Yeah, he's having a good time. I think, I'm not quite sure where he is, but I know he's away somewhere living it up. Yeah, just in true Graham style, the hoof GP. Your puddings sound like cornmeal mush. They do, don't they? I suppose it's not a sweet pudding, it's like a savoury pudding, a meat pudding, or a sort of pretending to be meat pudding. My partner's Thompson ancestor was captured at Culloden and then transported to America. We're looking forward to your Culloden video. Good. I'm feeling the pressure with the Culloden video because there's so much to it. Just the history of the actual Stuart dynasty and how it all came about and the kind of Hanoverian succession and the implications for kind of Highland life as well. So there's a lot to kind of piece together. So it's taking me a little bit longer than it should have, but that'll be out later this week. But yeah, Culloden is very kind of atmospheric. I've been wanting to go there since I was about 12 years old. Ever since I first kind of heard about it, I was on holiday with my mum and the rest of my family as well, obviously. But I remember watching a video somewhere near Aviemore and seeing this thing about Culloden and thinking, yeah, I'd love to go there. It only took me 33 years. What's your favourite thing to eat? What is my favourite thing to eat? Probably lasagna or chocolate of some kind. Chocolate and coffee I'm kind of addicted to. And I do love pasta, but it doesn't love me. Or maybe it does love me because it tends to stick to my waist, to be honest. Love watching you and your brother. Thank you very much. Have you seen the other brother, James Parker sculpture? I think he's floating around here somewhere in the comments. Very worth a watch. Got all the kind of talent in the family. He's a very good sculptor. And yeah, just kind of blows me away. He doesn't put out as many videos because he takes a lot of time to do sculptures. So obviously to film a video may take a couple of weeks just because he'll be showing you the process of how he makes his sculptures. Check that out if you haven't already because it's amazing what he does. It kind of blows me away. Every time you think you know what he's up to, he kind of moves the goalposts a little bit and starts doing something else. Initially he was doing stuff with slate, and then he started doing stuff with glass, and then more recently he started doing stuff with metal, which is amazing to see. So he's always moving things along. Robert Amity, sorry I spelled the name wrong. No, don't be daft. Everybody spells Graham's name wrong because there are so many different spellings of the name Graham. His favourite thing is when they spell it Graham, because it's the Scottish spelling of Graham is Graeme, but then historically it would have been Grahaeme or something like that. So like Sir John de Graham, I think. So yes, many spelling changes over the years, and it'd be difficult to guess which one was. My favourite thing was when I worked in fraud prevention. And we went to see a company in London, and they were speaking to fraudsters on the phone, and somebody phoned up, and they had somebody called Graham's credit card, but the guy could not pronounce the name on the credit card, so this fraudster was just desperately trying to pronounce someone else's name. I think his first attempt was Gramey, and then he decided it was Jeremy, or so yeah, he got declined. Yeah, saw some fun stuffs working in fraud prevention. Savoury and sweet, yes. What did I say? Oh, I probably said something weird. My brain's starting to go. We are weird, it's true, as a nation. Greetings from East Texas, cool. Love your videos, thank you very much. Anne Van Weston, that's a cool name. Alice Gamble even, sorry. An amazing artist. He is an amazing artist, but don't say it too loud, because I think he's maybe watching this on a big screen, and we don't need his head to get any bigger. What's your next story going to be about? Culloden, Scottish history. Yep, Culloden and Jacobites, and really Bonnie Prince Charlie, who was he as a person. And then the next one after that is going to be Hadrian's Wall. So I did a really quick video about, I happened to be driving past Antonine's Wall, and just kind of you can't miss it when you drive past it, because it's made of so it's been made of kind of earth stacked high, and you just can't miss it. It's covered in trees, but it's this big kind of, I think it was originally 3 meters high with a kind of a 2 meter wall on the top, and it's just like a big embankment. It looks like some kind of railway structure, but when you see it, you know what you're looking at. Janice Radine, how many brothers and sisters do you have? Seems a large family. It is a large family. So, my mum had 5 kids and 6. My mum and dad had 5 kids in 6 years, I should say. Yeah, so I'm the oldest of 5. So I've got 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Both of the brothers are on YouTube. Both of the sisters are far too sensible for that kind of thing. Kristen G, have to say you and James are my favourite Parker brothers. James is an amazing sculptor. Yeah, thank you very much. Can you send a link to his site? I would love to see his work. Do you know what? I'll put a link to his site in the description. I think, is it just James Parker Sculptor, James, you can tell me. But I'll find it anyway. I'll put a link in the description of this video, and you can all click on it and have a look if you haven't already. Show him the Kelvin Hall. All right, Kelvin Hall, as in just Kelvin Hall in Glasgow. Kelvin Hall in Glasgow is amazing. How many siblings do you have? 5 altogether. I've watched several of your Sculpture Brothers videos. How interesting. Yeah, very much so. All the talent in the family. I now have that video. Did I say all the talent in the video? All the talent in the video, no, in the family. I didn't, did I? Oh, God, right. He's quite a talented man, put it that way. My uncle's very talented too. He makes mugs. I don't know if I got one in the cupboard. Possibly not. But he's a very clever ceramics guy. But yeah, James has got a lot of talent. Even if he does keep reminding me that I said that for the rest of my days, probably. Ross McKee, James isn't big-headed at all. Not at all. Nadine, oh Lord, at James Parker Sculpture. Don't call him Lord. He'll yeah. Remember to give his video a like. Yeah, honestly, go and have a look at his videos. His dovecot video is amazing. He built this dovecot from stone. A dovecot, if you don't know what it is basically a place like a kind of like a dove hotel, and people had them as follies. I think I'm right in saying in the kind of 18th, 19th centuries, probably further back than that. I found your brother James. I'll look at it later. Definitely do that. Let's not plug him anymore though. I gave it a thumbs up. Thank you very much. What else was I going to chat about? Chillingham Castle. Told you about that, didn't I? Also went to the island where the Vikings turned up. I told you what it was, and I always forget what it's called. Lindisfarne. Lindisfarne's castle is this really, really strange place where It's not what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be a really kind of old castle, and it probably is quite old. But it was completely refurbed at the beginning of the 20th century by a mad publisher guy, by the architect Lichens. So I went in and it was almost like a folly in itself. But there were bits of writing from other people who described how awful it was going there and how much they hated it, but they still went there anyway. So it's a really, really interesting place to go. If you ever get the chance to go to Lindisfarne, definitely do it. But obviously, during low tide, you can't get to the island when it's high tide. Please speak my name. I'm falling into that trap. Okay, here goes. Get Chappy Pikachu. I'm so good at pronouncing things. Apologies if I got that wrong. Patty S, your videos are wonderful for those of us in America who have Scottish heritage. Helps us make the connection to our ancestors' lives. Brilliant. That's exactly kind of what I would want it to be. Hopefully, the aim is always to kind of keep it as interesting as possible, keep it as sharp as possible, and hopefully make it funny where I can. And it shouldn't all just be about history. There should be other bits of kind of, some of it, I guess, is myths and legends, and some of it is just the kind of, I suppose, the prettier stuff that's in the country. So the likes of the Falkirk Wheel, or the Kelpies, that kind of thing. The Kelpies obviously was connected to the legends, although that wasn't quite what it was built for. But there's a bit of backstory to that I put across a couple of other videos as well. Chippy delivered at the door. Yes, nice. Enjoy, filthy cat. Good talking to you. Haggis? Hugs, not haggis. And Ambrose. So many of us here have Scottish ancestors, but we don't know very much about Scotland. There's a lot to learn. Do you know what? The thing is, I am only learning about Scotland as well. I'm not a historian. I'm just somebody who loves a good story. So my job really, as I see it at the moment, is just kind of reading up on as much as possible, kind of digesting it, and then kind of making it as fun as possible, I suppose. And that's kind of the point. Do you ever wish you were English? I am a quarter English. So no, because I'm effectively part English. So I don't have to. Handy during the World Cup, it's not. Scotland never get into the World Cup. No, I'm Scottish. Meow. When does the sun set there? It's still very bright. Well, it would be, but I'm kind of, you can't really see that because I'm underneath a big skylight is why it's quite bright. But at this time of year, I want to say about 9:30 maybe, something like that. Obviously, the further north you are, the later it is. But probably 9:30, 10ish, the sun's going down. Robert Amity, I'm in. Good stuff. Adox Artist, I only just found your channel this week. Your videos are interesting, well made, and hilarious. Thanks for your efforts. Thank you very much. Mississippi, USA, awesome. John Grisham is probably the most I know about Mississippi. It seems like a really kind of interesting area. I've obviously read quite a lot of John Grisham books, and some of them are set in Mississippi. Just sounds like a really interesting part of the world. What was I going to say? I got distracted there. I was going to say something, but I forgot what it was. But yeah. What else was up to last week? Alnwick Castle. So I've got reels coming about Lindisfarne, Alnwick, and Chillingham, but they're really just kind of maybe YouTube shorts. I'm going to do one about Urquhart Castle, which is where I was when I was filming the Nessie video. A lot of people seem to have discovered the channel in the last week or so. That's what I was going to say, because of the kilt video, which kind of went a bit mad. Which is a good thing from my point of view. But it really, really took off. I didn't expect it to take off quite as much as it did, which is fantastic to see. No pressure for following it up. Told you what I was up to this week. Next couple of months, got some kind of fun things coming up. So obviously we're kind of heading into the autumn. Kristen G, yes, I am on Instagram. Just Scotland Unplugged on Instagram, to be honest. My Instagram is probably... it is a horrendous job researching my reading. It's not at all. I love it. Kristen G, yes, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok. My Instagram and TikTok pages they still get the same things that Facebook does. They don't get the long form videos just because they're not the format for that, I suppose. And they also tend to prioritize kind of vertical content. So the long form stuff tends to be on Facebook and tends to be on YouTube. This is what we're on now, isn't it? But the kind of shorter stuff. So you'll see some reels and maybe some shorts coming out on YouTube, but I'm tending to stick to the kind of longer form stuff. But yeah, have a look on Instagram. I have, I think, about 500 followers on Instagram. So it's not a big Instagram channel at all. Compared to Facebook and compared to YouTube, it's really, I've kind of barely scratched the surface. Sabby S, love the Loch Ness video. Thank you very much. It was cool to see and to see your kids in the videos. Right, the kids don't often get to be in the videos, but sometimes they just pressure me and make me put them in. That one in particular, my daughter was determined that we were going Nessie hunting, so I kind of had to cave in. Bookish Bedlam, I wear a kilt most of the. You wear a kilt most of the time. Whereabouts are you, Bookish Bedlam? It's interesting because the number of people that commented on that kilt video that they wore a kilt a lot of the time, and pretty much everyone was in America. And somebody actually, one of the first comments I got was to say that more people wear kilts in America on a regular basis than do in Scotland, which really surprised me. It's really interesting. So yeah, are you in America or Canada? The Loch Ness video, yeah, kilt video, yeah. It's thanks very much, Alice. I enjoyed making the Loch Ness video. The kilt video I enjoyed making. It was a bit more of a challenge, just because there was a lot to put in and a lot to put together. Graham won't answer the question about if he fits in his kilt from 15 years ago. I don't think Graham's got a kilt though. I think last time he maybe wore a kilt was possibly at my wedding, I would think, which was 13 years ago. Caroline Parker informed me the other day that she was saying it's her anniversary, 10 years. That's actually 13. But she got champagne, which is good. Yeah, so Graham, I don't think Graham actually owns a kilt, so he gets off scot-free with that one. I struggled to get into mine, although last year it was hanging off me and I thought I was going to have it taken in, so just shows you how much beef you can put on in a year. Robert Amity, I have found that people cook things better from the country it comes from on there, so I bet haggis in Scotland would taste very good. I'd like to try haggis. Actually, you do get some very tasty haggis in Scotland, to be fair. It's obviously there's a lot of bad food in Scotland, but there's a lot of very good food in Scotland as well. There's obviously, you've got things like smoked salmon, you've got things like really well made haggis, and like Scottish beef and things is amazing. The best steak I ever had was my brother had just gone to the local butcher. It was amazing. It was like melt in the mouth, and that was obviously Scottish beef. Don Deary, hello from Massachusetts, USA. Love your stories about Scotland. I wish you can do ones about the clans, the septs. I have Scottish blood and I love it. So that's something I may well do a bit more of. Obviously, where to begin? There's obviously the Campbells is one that a lot of people ask about. The McGregors is another one because you've got your kind of Rob Roy McGregor, and they were a band clan as well. Not so much a band clan, but they were. There's a bit of history towards kind of what went on there, so definitely something I'm looking at. Would you consider doing a video about Skye? I am a McDonald. Yeah, Lord of the Isles. We may well go to Skye at some point. We do have friends up in Skye, actually. It'd be quite good to go dinosaur footprint hunting as well. It's a massively Instagram location, Skye, isn't it? Because Bedlam, you're in America. I thought you might be. It's really interesting that lots of people told me that they wore utility kilts and that they're really comfortable, which I just didn't expect at all. Which is, yeah, it's really good to hear. Would you consider doing a video about Skye? Yeah, definitely. Caroline Parker shaming me live on YouTube about not remembering how many years. It's fine. she's really good at remembering stuff normally. I would forget my head if it wasn't screwed on. I hope Caroline got flowers too for your anniversary. Actually, Caroline bought the champagne. Although I'm pretty sure she used the joint account. Alice Gamble, did he wear a kilt at Craig's wedding? He might well have worn a kilt at Craig's wedding. I'm not sure actually. Yeah, he probably did. Now I think about it. Nadine, haggis is amazing, really good. Everybody loves haggis. It just gives me terrible heartburn. Taste the Venom. Hello from Drum Terrace, Edinburgh, just behind the Hibs Stadium. My kids will love that. They're Hibs fans. Robert Amity, Queen Elizabeth is gone now. Let the boys fly free. Saw your smoked fish soup video. Made me hungry. Yeah, the smoked fish. I was on the way home from, where was I? Well, I was obviously in Arbroath, but I was on the way home from Arbroath making a video about something else, and I'd always wanted to try Arbroath smokies because they sound really good. I wasn't sure what to do with them, so Caroline made soup. It was actually Caroline's hands in the video that you can see chopping up the vegetables and making the soup because she's the genius chef in the family. My mum is a Ferguson. Her family is from the Perth area. Perth's a nice part of the country. What was I talking about? Coming up in the autumn, I've got some kind of seasonal stuff that's going to be happening. So as the nights draw in, things start to get a little bit spookier. So there'll be some kind of Halloweeny stuff. Gunpowder Plot, obviously 5th of November, that kind of thing. So you'll see some spookier content coming from me. There'll be... I'm actually going to record an audiobook. So because it's Halloween, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a recording of Jekyll and Hyde and just chuck that as a kind of a podcast thing, just if anybody wants to listen to that. Might be interesting to hear it in a Scottish accent, just because Robert Louis Stevenson was Scottish. You wear the half kilt, yeah. God, yeah, you wouldn't want to wear the big, the big great kilt thing. Although a lot of people do. It's fun enough. Andy the Highlander and Fan Dabidozi is another one, both YouTube channels. But Andy the Highlander's bigger on Facebook, and he's got about 500,000 followers on Facebook. They wear the great kilt, and I think he's a tour guide, and I think he wears it every day with all the weaponry and everything as well, which is crazy and must take quite a bit of kind of getting ready in the morning. In fact, he did a video about how you put the whole thing on. And featured some of the weaponry in it. You'll find a link in the description if you want to take a look at that. But yeah, half kilt. You can see why it was constructed like that. It's a lot easier to put on. I love wearing a sporran. There's much practical. It's like a handbag around your waist, isn't it? You can put anything in there. It's amazing the amount of stuff I find after weddings and things. Hagley, your mum's a Ferguson too. Always makes me think of Massey Ferguson's getting agricultural tractors. Between haggis and black pudding, I would try the haggis first. Yes. But I love the Scotch egg. Yes, Scotch eggs. Scotch egg I remember getting that at school as well, quite a lot. I've not had a Scotch egg in a long time. Bookish Bedlam, there's an open-ended statement. Go visit Sky. Personalities would compliment. Yeah. You should show your family in some of the videos. The kids are only allowed in so many videos just because they say you should never work with kids. But they also, they're at school and stuff, so when I'm out filming and stuff, they tend to be at home. But they're watching this right now, I suppose. Kathleen Dolan, I saw an advert for vegetarian haggis. What the heck? Yeah, quite popular, I think, vegetarian haggis. In fact, I've had it. It's it's not bad actually. It's although I prefer that kind of meaty haggis. Saying my apologies to your kids, but I'm a Celtic man. I won't tell them, it's fine. I'm sure they've switched off now. It's just me talking anyway. PGK, you could make a Scotch egg inside a cabbage. You probably could actually. We were talking about, we're probably going to do a few more of these kind of shorts where we make things. And by we, I mean me and my boss, Caroline, who basically tells me what to do. But yeah, that may be something that's coming up. We'll see. Our Rangers. it's all getting a bit tribal on here. So yeah, this week coming up, Culloden that should be out on Thursday. And then I'm going to do a video on Hadrian's Wall, which involves me driving back to the wall and getting my drone out and trying not to crash it, hopefully. You'll see some reels coming out about Anik. What else was I going to say? I think that's pretty much it. Comments wise, so I try to keep on top of the comments and I try to reply to as many of them as possible. I do read them all. I'm sorry if I'm not able to reply to every comment these days just because there's more of them. It's sometimes tougher to kind of keep up. But initially, the kind of early comments I always try and keep on top of. So I'm sorry if I'm not as good with the comments as I have been in the past. Just really, really busy kind of making content and stuff these days. Sabby S. Happy wife equals happy life. So I'm told. My husband disagrees with this saying. PJK used to make a fireplace or open pit. It's from the 1870s. Lots of love. No malice. Reba Gibbons, good evening. Hello, how are you? Deborah Hall, yes, Graham and Craig both wore kilts at his wedding. It was a good video to watch. There you go. Better memory than me, anyway. So yeah, I don't know. Graham probably heard that. Maybe he's got one. I don't know. Just keep asking him about it. I'm sure it won't bother him at all. Life of Lucretia. Hey, from Eugene, Oregon, USA. Yeah, comments. I'm really sorry if I'm not able to answer all the comments, but I do read all the comments and try and keep on top of them as much as I can. But yeah, just quite busy recently, and obviously I've been on holiday for a week, so that kind of means that takes up a little bit more time. So we're talking about Chillingham. Yeah, so there's some more kind of ghostly content coming up. Somebody did suggest a live from Greyfriars Cemetery on Halloween. We'll see. In terms of time, that might be quite frightening. Could I please say hi, Rory? How are you? Hope you're doing well. Sorry, that's terrible. I should have said hello before. Rory is my cousin. My cousin's son. So first cousin once removed. Yeah. Hope you're doing well, Rory. There you go. Robert Amity, you could visit bakeries and cooking places and video them making Scottish foods and baked goods. I could. There are many baked goods made in Scotland. Or I could just bake some stuff. Or I could just have my son bake some stuff. He loves baking stuff. If you think that my hands look particularly tiny in the videos, that's why. PGK Graveyard would be great. Yes, I'd have to have somebody there with me. I'm not scared, honest. Yeah, I think I told the story before about the fact that I used to live in a haunted house. I never saw anything, but I heard some very strange things. Rory, you're getting high from other people as well now. Alice Gamble, that would be awesome. Greyfriars Cemetery is so famous. What have I said? But yeah, so there'll be more kind of seasonal stuff coming out. I'm going to do something on the gunpowder plot as well, because obviously those are Scottish kings and the story of Guy Fawkes. I'm not sure how kind of familiar that is in America. Does everybody know about the gunpowder plot and how they tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament on the 5th of November? But that's definitely a video I'll be doing just because I love the story. Might give me an excuse to go to York as well. No worries, Rory. That would be, yeah, it would be fun. I'm quite. I'd love to see your family cooking or baking Scottish foods. It might go to their heads. Wayne, ever considered doing videos on the history of coal mining in the Central Belt? Hasn't really entered my head, to be honest. Because I'm not from the Central Belt, it's not something I know an awful lot about. But there is an awful. I know there's an awful lot of kind of history around here. Certainly, kind of if you go. Well, I mentioned a tunnel that actually goes underneath the Forth. That was, I think it was in the 60s, the 50s or the 60s. There is a lot of mining history around here. So yeah, definitely one to think about. PGK, yes, my mother is a great baker. I think my mother might actually be listening in right now, so um, she is a great baker. She really is. Even if she's not listening in right now. I got very fat when I worked for her, put it that way. The gunpowder plot is mostly unknown in America. Oh well, I love the story just because it reminds me of being a kid, and some of my best memories involve bonfires and fireworks down on the farm, celebrating bonfire nights. Robert Amity, so it rains a lot there. I live in the Sunshine State of Florida, very hot and humid. Yeah. A lot of people I know have kind of holidayed in Florida, and that's the one thing they always say. It's very, very kind of humid. Life Lucretia, share out to your social media. What am I sharing out to my social media? A video on Scottish shortbread. Shortbread, stovies was the other suggestion actually that Caroline had. Although stovies are very kind of different in different places, because apparently it's just a mishmash of whatever you've got is basically the recipe for stovies. But she does have a very good recipe for it. Taste of Venom, that would be a great subject for content. Boost your outreach. Yeah. Alice Gamble. Oh, butter and sugar, yeah. Alice Gamble, do a video baking it and cooking it in your mum's tea shop. My poor mum wouldn't put up with that. My sister wouldn't put up with that. She'd probably tidy me away. That's the kind of thing Kirsty does. She's like the Tasmanian devil, like a kind of miniature version of the Tasmanian devil, but blonder. And more intense, basically. If you stand still for too long, she'll put you in a cupboard. She just kind of whizzes through the place and tidies up, and I've never seen anybody move that fast. Do videos about port cities and history. I suppose Leith is there's a kind of harbour in Edinburgh, although Leith is a separate town. There's quite a bit of port history here as well. Chat guests can share to their social media to bring in more guests. I see. Eating your chips first, filthy cat. Priorities, quite right. I would be doing the same thing. I suppose it depends where you are. If it's like salt and sauce or salt and vinegar as well. So it was quite funny when I lived in Glasgow, watching my Edinburgh girlfriend going in, or as wife as she is now, going in and asking for salt and sauce and getting some very funny looks. If you don't know, in Edinburgh they have they have this thing called salt and sauce instead of salt and vinegar. If you're in America, this means nothing actually, because in the UK, when we have chips, you put salt and vinegar on them. And we were talking about earlier, but chips are basically French fries. You'd put salt and vinegar on them. But if you live in Edinburgh, for some reason, they put salt and sauce on them. So it's like brown sauce that's been heavily and brown sauce, you probably know what brown sauce is either. Like HP sauce, which is probably a peculiarly British thing. But yeah, it's really kind of diluted down with vinegar and then chucked on your chips and fish and chips or whatever you're having from the chip shop. It's amazing. But don't tell my wife I said that. How we got here, genealogy. Would love to do a collaborative with you. I have a story about crofters from a community on Skye that all seem to disappear. That's an interesting story. Yeah, give me a shout. We'll have a chat about that. That sounds very interesting. Somebody was talking about somebody commented on the Nessie video about. So I was talking about in the Nessie video. It was talking about a plot that basically happened. It was all to do with a guy called Marmaduke Wetherill. If you haven't seen the video, he basically came up with a plot to fool the Daily Mail. Not that I have a lot of sympathy for the Daily Mail, but the most famous picture of Nessie, Marmaduke Wetherill basically faked that picture. But somebody commented on it and said something about their family history, and some locals who were mending fishing nets, I think, in the winter, and they came up with a plot to basically fool the British press, which suggests that actually part of the reason that Marmaduke Wetherill got so basically shamed by the British press may have been because he was tricked in the first place, which never entered my head. So yeah, that's interesting as well. But yeah, definitely interesting story how we got here, genealogy. Um, Robert Amity, how about a scone recipe? I do love a scone, it has to be said. Or I think a few people got confused when I went to Scone Palace and I said it's not to be pronounced scone or God forbid scone. I can't say it, but scone and but yeah, completely separate things, and never to be confused. But yeah, scones. My mum makes amazing scones, fruit scones. Stick some butter on them. Have them for breakfast every morning and get fat like I did. Hello from San Francisco, Marilyn Holberg, Bay Area. Sounds awesome. A lot of good bands there. I love watching your videos from my West Highland White Terrier named Macintosh McDougall. That's a good name. Macintosh always makes me think of a guy I used to know called William Black Macintosh, who sounded like, do you know what Billy Connolly sounds like? Like Billy Connolly used to sound like. And he owned a kind of local restaurant, but he sounded like he'd been a timekeeper in the Glasgow shipyards and just had the best accent ever. How about scone recipe? Definitely worth doing. Salt and sauce, brown sauce. Yeah, trying to explain brown sauce. That's just really weird. It's only when you start explaining stuff that you realise what a strange little country you come from. HP sauce is actually made in the Netherlands. Well, there you go. I've been to the Netherlands a few times myself. Although a lot of Scottish history comes from the Netherlands as well, because they were quite closely connected. What was for dinner? I haven't actually had dinner tonight. Now I think about it, no wonder I'm kind of stomping about. I see people in the garden as well. This may be my dinner arriving. In fact, there's over 50 of us, but only 4 likes. Don't worry about the likes. It's fine. It's just good to chat. Ask Gamble, not anymore. 57. I put malt vinegar on my chips and maybe brown sauce, but not at the same time. It is good. I'm a Yank being anglicised. My love's from the UK, born in Montrose. Actually, I know somebody I used to work with somebody from Montrose. Looks like a nice part of the world. You can actually make brown sauce by just make the actual chip sauce. I think all you do is basically water down brown sauce with vinegar, and it's well worth trying if you can spare a bottle of brown sauce. Looked it up because curiosity is a disease, and apparently HP sauce is a bit like a sweeter version of A1 steak sauce. Oh, there you go. Kay Hansen, hello from Alabama. Hello. Greetings from Southern California. My mum just said you're a handsome fellow. Your mum probably needs to ask tested. I'm going. That's hard. I haven't even bothered doing anything to my hair today. It's like I just see more wrinkles every time I look in the mirror. Trust the Navigator. HP is equivalent to the US in A1. Very nice of your mum to say that though. HP is equivalent. Scots have a strange dialect like Marmite. Strange everything really. Thank you. Malt vinegar and sea salt. Yeah, that's what I tend to put on my chips in the house because I can't be bothered to make brown sauce, but it's good. I don't think it updates CC10. Hold up the mic closer to myself. Am I a bit quiet? I need to get one of those actual kind of microphones that I put on here. I'm in a very echoey kitchen at the moment. PGK had an ancestor dumb enough to attempt to be the king in Scotland. He got run out and moved outside England. Who was that then? Who was your ancestor, PGK? Be interesting to find out. Celtic Pony, I put malt vinegar on pancakes. Mistakes were made. In my defence, it was early in the morning. HP on steak is the best. Yeah, I can imagine it would be. I quite like a whiskey sauce on steak as well. So if you get like whiskey, maybe peppercorns and cream. Now I'm just making myself hungry. Viking Jordan. Interesting. Yeah, the Vikings, they like to turn up and I think they controlled quite a lot of Scotland at one stage. And they were finally kind of, well, not seen off, because they tended to just kind of become part of the population, I suppose. But yeah, they were kind of seen off by, I think, Alexander the Third, who was the guy that fell off his horse and kicked off the Wars of Independence. Um, are you retired? What else do I do for a living? No, I'm not retired, but I am retired. I'm not that old. So at the moment, I'm kind of taking some time out. So basically, for the moment, I am doing YouTube and writing for a living for as long as I can be. Something I've always wanted to do, so I just took the opportunity to do it while I could. And depending on how it goes, I may well be going back to do what I was doing before in a few months' time. Just see how it goes, really. It's one of these things where I'm kind of following a bit of a mad dream, to be honest. But there we go. How we got their genealogy? I like whiskey and steak. Yes, whiskey and steak, whiskey sauce and steak. Anything. Whiskey and steak's really good in any order, isn't it? So I better disappear. My wife has just arrived. I see my kids are jumping around in the garden, so they're probably avoiding me, or maybe Caroline's avoiding me. I'm not sure, because of the worry of the crazy noisy children. But I'm going to disappear just now and actually get my dinner and finish writing up this Jacobite video. But really good to kind of come on and chat to everybody. If you do SteamYard panels, I'll show you malt whiskey collection. Oh, nice. What's that what's StreamYard panels? Does that mean people can actually jump onto the actual? Oh, that's cool. Definitely something to look at. Have a good week yourself, PGK. Life's Lakeisha. Have a good day. Good to speak to everybody, and I will see you all again in a month, or maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll jump on and do another live. But it's always good to jump on and do these things. Again, apologies for not replying to all the comments. I'll reply to as many as I can when they come out, but I do read all of them. And thanks for all the comments, and thanks for watching the videos, and hope you all have a fantastic week. Cheers.